Hi YouTube, so this is one of my favorite tricks, which is a trick in mathematics to count a little bit faster. We call it midpoint multiplication. And the reason why it's really interesting is it's much faster to do this than to do a standard multiplication. But you can only do this when you see a midpoint between two numbers. Like if you look at 19 times 21, what's in between 19 and 21? Oh, 20. 20 is the midpoint, or the average, right? You could say the mean of the two numbers. If you looked at numbers like 16 and 18, you could use the number 17, which is in between them, right? So when you do 16 times 18, I encourage you to use this technique. If you do 19 times 21, I encourage you to use this technique. If you do a standard multiplication, then just do standard multiplication, right? So here, 19 times 21, well, we're going to use the squares of the numbers, and this is why this is a beautiful trick. So we're going to use 20 squared because the midpoint is 20 squared, and the distance to the midpoint is 1. So I'm going to do this, look. And this is shockingly amazing. I'm going to say this is 20 squared minus 1 squared. And 20 squared is 400, and 1 squared is 1. So it's 400 minus 1, which is 399. So if you wanted to do 19 times 21, you could just say, oh, it's 400 minus 1, 399. Done. Why? Because the midpoint is 20, so when I square it, I get 400. And the distance to the midpoint is 1, and when I square that distance, it's still 1, so it's 400 minus 1. This actually comes from an algebra technique called the difference of two squares, and when we use it in number theory, it gives us very good results, like this one, nice and easy. Now, the distance to the midpoint here is 2, but the midpoint is the same, it's still 20. So what can I do for 18 times 22? Well, I could say it's 400 minus 4. Like 20 squared is 400, 2 squared is 4. And it still works. You can check it with a calculator. So I can say this is 20 squared minus 2 squared. And 400 minus 4 is 396. So let's try and do this one together. Okay, 17 times 23. 20 squared is 400, 3 squared is 9. What is 400 minus 9? Oh, 391. And it's relatively straightforward. Now, let's try and do this one. The midpoint is still 20, so 20 squared is 400, and then 4 squared is 16. So I can write that out for you, or we can just do 400 minus 16, which is actually not that bad, right? 400 minus 16 is 384. And this is how you use the midpoint between two numbers to multiply them. Now, you have to be quite savvy with your squares. You have to know your squares. So if you know your squares, this is a good technique. If these are midpoints which are close to easy numbers to square, then that makes more sense. But if you know your square numbers anyway, then it doesn't matter what kind of midpoints you're looking for. But it's a super cool technique. It's nice and easy. Let's try another one. 29 times 31. 900 minus 1, 899. Done, right? So this is a Mathemagic, which is the midpoint multiplication. It's one of my absolute favorites. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. There's so much good content on our channel. You can find this on at MathemagicMD. You can, there's some lessons. We have some tricks like these. There's some short lessons. And so make sure that you engage with us. We appreciate your support, of course. This channel wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much, and try and look out for the next Mathemagic.